Social media used to be a place to connect and to share our lives. Now, some of us depend on them to live, both to make money or just because we need the constant online connections. Being an artist was never harder. Platforms like Instagram now benefit video content, and art sites like DeviantArt or ArtStation are an open field for AI algorithms. Artists can no longer just post a drawing, we need to think of the longevity of it. How much can we farm that art for content? The discussion about art being turned into a content is very heated, but the truth is, not all of us are privileged enough to do art as a hobby. For a lot of us, it's a first or second job. That doesn't mean we love what we do, it means that we accept that there's more to online art than just the final product, and we are okay with this. We are not less or more of an artist because of this. Time lapses, brushbacks, selling files, as artists found ways to keep a steady income without having to paint every day, and a growing artist like me who doesn't have an audience to sell this just yet, investing into the growth of my social media and opening commissions are the best way to start. This is the topic of today's art journey. It's all about the beginning. I'll assume if you're watching this, you know what a social media is and how to create an account, so this is not going to be a tutorial, more like a report on what I know and what I've been learning. Currently, my social media networks are Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and Blue Sky. This is where I post everything, or at least I try, and is where I also try to be active and engage with my growing community. Twitter is my best account stat-wise, is where I have more followers and engagement. It's also my oldest and the one where I'm most active on. I'm not a fan of Twitter though. Even before Musk, Twitter was always very hard for me. Maybe it's a skill issue, but I always struggle to get engagement on there, with my posts barely hitting the 10 likes mark. Nowadays, things have been changing, with posts ranging to 30 to 100 likes mark, but it's still very inconsistent. I think the main thing that helped me was focusing on fandoms and changing my target audience. I always did manga, anime, game fan arts, but now I try to be more explicit with them. I try to produce more relevant art. For example, I'm currently drawing a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen fan art, following the manga recent events. But ignoring all that, I'm not just making this because it's relevant and trending. It's important to like what you draw, and I always do that, and ever will. I'm not drawing characters I don't like, topics I'm not comfortable with, or something I don't know just because it's famous. Of course, commissions are a different topic. Another big change that I noticed that impacted me was interacting with the fan base of the content I was producing. On Twitter, I used to only like and retweet content of my art friends, but that was keeping my art on a bubble that wouldn't reach anyone. I now interact with other artists, members of the community, and I'm not shy of just reading about the source material. It doesn't need to be art related, just keeping the algorithm in my favor. Keeping my account on people's timeline is what is important. Sadly, this is the general talk for all social media, the algorithm and how to please it. Thanks to tools like Twitter Analytics, I can keep track of what I do wrong and what I do right, but other social medias aren't as easy to understand or gatekeep some of these features, like Instagram, my second main social media, where I can't even check my analytics due to my lack of followers. I wish I was able to tell you what works or doesn't on Instagram, but this is a social media I'm still learning myself, as I only made it during college. I do like how organized we can have our photo gallery and how effective the hashtags are on Instagram, even though most of them just spawn art and repost bots, but hey, at least they work. When I reach 100 followers on Instagram, I will try to learn, the Instagram ways and how to be more active on there. Moving on with Tumblr, yes, Tumblr. This is also a very recent social media to me, but it's one that I admire the most. I don't post everything here. I find original content to be very ignored on Tumblr, but the fan art content is always really well received, with interactions months, I'm not joking, months after the original post was made. Something that makes me very happy and allows me to check in on the fandoms and see if they are still active, which can sometimes make me want to produce new content for them, just how it happens with the fandom of Off, the indie game by Morty's Ghost. After I saw the receptions of my fan arts on Tumblr, I eventually did more, which I'm very glad, because it allowed me to meet new artists and talented folks on the fandom. I finished this dive on my social medias with Blue Sky. Some of you might have never heard of it, others maybe just stopped using it, as well, it was marketed as a Twitter alternative. Although this is the one that has the most potential, as Blue Sky was made by the laid off team from Twitter, and its influence is, well, remarkable on the UI and even on the colors, but whatever. There's a lot to like about Blue Sky, like the amazing feed tab, the less algorithm dependence, but there's also a lot to hate. Well, let's just say there's more room for improvement, as the devs have been working really hard in bringing constant updates to the site, which is now finally open for everyone. The OGs will remember the Blue Sky invite code days. Oh my god, that was... I also have a TikTok, but due to laziness and how trend-based that app is, I tend to rarely post in there. I have my fair share of animations, memes, or art trends on there, but I don't actively try my luck there, which might change in the future. For now, I'll just be on the lookout for possible art trends for me to participate in. So, what's the goal of growing this audience? Well, I'm trying to find potential clients or just people that appreciate, support, and share my art. Sadly, only one thing pays the bills, and that's why I'm trying to, again, do commissions, using this recent website a friend told me about, Artistree. They are not sponsoring me, but everything I've learned about them made me want to talk about more about this project, especially because it's a new site. Artistree and I share a common value. Selling art and producing it as content shouldn't be a privilege, for most is a necessity. Artistree is a platform where you can sell your art commissions, get fairly paid, and help the environment. Their stress-free selling and the way they are open about wanting to protect and help human artists, not allowing AI or NFTs, were a huge selling point for me. If you're someone that struggled with commissions in the past, here you can find a lot of safety and fair payment that platforms like Fiverr, Ko-Fi, or PayPal don't provide. Having more protection about the payment, but also your identity, as you can anonymously sell your art here, makes Artistree a very trustworthy project for me. I'm merely speaking about other people's experience and what I've learned online and inside. I still haven't made any commissions on there yet, but that is something that I will keep you updated. Both my experience and if the site works or not for a growing small artist. Currently, I'm selling portraits, F-bodies, and emotes for Twitch or Discord. I'm still trying to see what type of clients I can find there. About the pricing, I usually think about how much I need to make in an hour to survive where I live, multiply that with how many hours it takes me to finish a piece, and, because I'm a digital artist, I don't account for art materials, so this should give me more or less the price of my commission. I don't have much experience with this, so they might increase or decrease in price. I'll see how I can manage them. My experience with commission has been working freelance for company, so working for an individual is still news to me, but Artistree covers some of the fears that I have with this. I can't give you tips on working with individuals, but I can share some of my experience with freelancing that can help me and others starting out as well. So something that really surprised me by the negative was when making a concept and sketches for a client. They often didn't choose the ones I thought were more suited or more interesting. At first, this was really disappointing to me, as I thought I was wasting my skills or something dumb like that, but as they say, the client is always right, which is not true, but the client is the one paying you, so he's allowed to choose what he thinks is more suited for him. So don't get attached, especially in the beginning, to a drawing that a client can and should change at any minute. Of course, for your sake, you should limit the times you can drastically change a drawing. Most artists use 3 times, but remember that you're not drawing for yourself. Yes, you're applying your skills, time, work, sweat, and tears. Hopefully not the tears. Your client is the one that in the end needs to be happy and pleased. An happy client will return, share your product, proudly use and display your art. Plus they might give you a tip, which, come on, is always welcome. Back then, this took me roughly a week to accept this, but in the end, I didn't care if they reject my good ideas. I was just happy when I was able to find someone that would make them happy. That means I was able to translate their ideas into a good piece of art, and that's what matters. With the money of my first freelancing work, I was able to buy a new tablet, treat myself in some games that I wanted to play, I was able to travel and eat something new. That's the things that made it all worth it. Knowing that I was doing an experience that with the hard work of my heart made everything better. So don't see commission as one gets everything and the other one suffers. It's not like your client is gonna force you to make the most horrific drawing in history. And remember, setting some boundaries for yourself or on what you can or not draw can also help you avoid this conflict. But be sure to display them publicly or to tell your client before you agree to work with them. In the last episode, I said that I wanted to make this series on a weekly basis, but more than a week passed and no content was uploaded. I know that I said I was not gonna force myself, but I should give at least an explanation. I was sick with a terrible flu, I think I still have it to be honest, but that made me struggle to talk, which is something that really doesn't help if you want to record, you know. I also traveled some days to visit my partner and to just hang out with my family. It's where I actually managed to grab most of these footage, like, ooh, so pretty. On top of this, Persona 3 Reload was released. I finally finished the game, which took me about 100 hours. It's an amazing game, by the way. Might talk about it in the future, who knows, let me know in the comments. But thankfully I'm all better now, but I haven't been drawing a lot. I'm more focused on planning and preparing these commissions, and I started 3D modeling again for the game project I'm in, which is something that I really miss. 3D was never a passion, but it's something that I really like to do and wouldn't mind exploring more in the future. I want to thank all the support on the previous video as well. I'll try to improve on the stuff that were lacking, mainly the audio issues. For next episode, I hope I can talk more about art, or at least to give an update on this past week's progress. So if you're interested in that, as always, subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you soon. If you miss me, there's always my socials, which I leave in the description, so bye bye.